In this example, we're given that a rectangular television has a diagonal length of 75 inches and a width of 65 inches. We're then asked, what is its height? Because this is a rectangle, the height, width, and diagonal form a right triangle, and we'll be able to use the Pythagorean theorem to determine the height. So to start, let's draw a diagram. I'll draw a rectangle, and then I'll draw its diagonal. And then I'm going to label the key pieces that I've been given here. So I'll put 75 inches on the diagonal, 65 inches on that base width, and then I'm going to label the height with h. So what I've drawn is a rectangle where the diagonal is labeled with 75 inches, the base labeled with 65 inches, and the height labeled with h. Between the sides 65 inches and h, I've made that corner have a little square to denote that it's forms a right triangle. Now we can use the Pythagorean theorem and write the equation 65 squared plus h squared equals 75 squared. So this relationship will enable us to find the value for h. So simplifying 65 squared, we find that that's 4,225. So I'll have 4,225 plus h squared equal to, and then I'm going to simplify 75 squared, which is 5,625. And now I have 4,225 plus h squared equal to 5,625. To get h squared on its own, I'll subtract 4,225 from each side, and that will leave me with h squared equal to 1,400. At this point, I can apply the square root method, and from here, if h squared is 1,400, then h is simply equal to the positive or negative square root of 1,400. Now, the square root of 1,400 can be simplified, and I can see that the two zeros on the end denote very quickly that 100 is a factor of 1,400, and since it's a perfect square factor, that'll be a great place to start in simplifying. So I'll write h as the positive or negative square root, and then inside this radical I'll write 100 times 14. That'll allow me to simplify it. That will make h equal to the positive or negative square root of 100 times the square root of 14. And then at last I can write that h is then positive or negative 10 times the square root of 14. Of course, this is a height, so I'm going to use h equals 10 times the square root of 14. I know at this point that 10 times the square root of 14 is the fully simplified answer because 14 does not have any perfect square factors. So that's my exact height. If I use a calculator to approximate it, I'll find that h is approximately 37.4. So to summarize, the height of this television is approximately 37.4 inches, and I'll write that out. So the height is approximately 37.4 inches.